Australian here. I'll tell you a story from when I was on a road trip a few years back. Be me. Decided one night after drinking heavily to gather a few friends and go on a road trip to Sydney from Adelaide for a long weekend. Pack the van, figure it'll be more than a few days trip, so we will have to camp out for the night unless friends want to keep driving throughout the night. We leave fairly late in the day because we underestimate how lazy/hungover we all were. Get on the road at around lunchtime. Make good progress flooring it on the highway. It starts to get quiet late into the night, and we've all had a turn driving. Friends start to feel really uneasy and carsick. Fuck it. We will pull over and camp for the night. A friend gets increasingly sick throughout the night. Starts throwing up constantly into plastic bags in the van. No way in fuck I'm sleeping in the van. Myself and my other mate get up our swags, kinda like a mini tent/sleeping bag for one person, out in a rest and revive station, set up along the highway, but within eyeshot of the van. Beautiful night, full moon, and bright as shit. Swag has a flap you can open so you can see out at the sky, but with a mesh to protect you from the bugs and shit. Decide to leave mine open to talk to mate and watch the stars. Eventually, fall asleep with the flap still open. I wake up in the middle of the night due to something dropping onto/hitting my face. It feels warm. It smells horrible. I start to absolutely freak the fuck out, but I'm frozen with fear. What the fuck is going on? My eyes slowly adjust, and I can see the silhouette of something peering into my swag. I violently close my eyes and pray to fucking God that I don't die. The swag shudders, and suddenly, as if something climbed on top of it. But then the silhouette disappears. I hear the van door open, and then running. Sick friend rushes over to my swag and unzips it in hysterics. "Are you fucking okay? Oh my god, I watched it the whole time. Where the fuck is Aaron?" We both turn on our phone's torches and leg it over to his swag. It looks as if it has been dragged a few meters, and the pegs are out of the ground. He's literally fucking frozen and wide-eyed. He starts whimpering, crying. We grab him up and bolt to the van, lock the doors, and huddle on the floor under a blanket for the next few hours until sunup. 3 grown men covering in fear. The next morning, we start the van and just drive, leaving our shit behind. Come to the nearest police station in Horsham. Tell the cops our story. They follow us back where we set up for the night. Sure enough, Aaron's swag had been moved. It showed from where it was first set up. The top of both of our swags is spattered in something. Look like spots of dried saliva on the mesh. Smells awful, like decayed meat. Pack our shit up and leave towards Adelaide. We have no fucking idea what happened that night. Cops think it may have been some sort of animal. Mark is adamant that whatever he saw outside of the van was stooped over and moved erratically. Never camping out during the night again. Fuck my country so hard. So my dad's lived in a few unique places, such as Shreveport, Louisiana, where his family's chimney was struck by lightning, and South Dakota, which is where his first post-college job was. Dad works for an engineering company in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, South Dakota. Shit pay. Right around the time he starts seeing my mom. Knew each other in high school, never thought about it, got together after high school. Mom is getting dental hygiene degree back in the Couve. Dad's driving from South Dakota. Takes her out through the northeast tip of Wyoming. Country road, tall grass on both sides. Dad has Mustang at the time because fuck you, he loves cars. See, stopped car at the edge of the road. Couple trying to wave him down. He starts slowing down a good 50 meters behind them. Suddenly, sees people in the tall grass coming out. He freaks the fuck out and guns it down the road. Looks in the rearview mirror and sees 15 people come out of the grass. I've heard other people tell similar stories. Is this a common carjacking technique? Or a cult thing? B1 AM. Driving home from local cinema. Only about 2 streets from my house. See something in the middle of the road, right under the streetlight. Brake as I get closer, as I realize it's a man. See that there's another dude also lying face down on the footpath on the right side of the road. Put car into park, open door. As I open the door, I see the man's arm flinch. Get strange feeling. Closed door. Decide to drive around the man in the street and stop a bit up the road and call for help. Watch as both men casually stand up and I see what looks like hammers in their hands. Nope the fuck out of there. Drive 2 streets home with lights off in case they see me. And been scared of helping people on the road ever since. To clarify, I joined the US Marine Corps when I was out of high school. This happened several years ago while I was on leave. Driving from California to New Mexico. Taking a shortcut through Amboy. At the time, a satanic hotspot. Be about 5 p.m. Take a pic of the city sign to prove I actually took I-40 to friends. Get back on the road. Get to top of mountain. See some stuff in the middle of the road. Slow down. See a red Pontiac stop sideways across both lanes. Open suitcase with scattered clothes. Man and woman face down in the road. Stop about 100 feet away. Hair on neck is standing up. Immediately pull out my 9mm pistol from under my seat and chamber around. Way too perfect of an accident scene. Like when civilians play dead in Iraq till their soldiers into a suicide bomb radius. Admit I'm being paranoid, but can't bring myself to leave my vehicle. Scan the road. See a line I could drive. Pass the guy's left. Swerve to the woman's right. Go behind the Pontiac and clear it. Drop into first. Gun it. Pass the Pontiac without hitting any bodies. Roll forward a bit before slowing down so I could stop panicking. Look in my rearview mirror. The 2 bodies are on their knees. 20 or so people emerge from tall grass on either side of the road. Slam my foot onto the gas and speed down I-40 until I got onto the next on-ramp. Eat up a ton of gas and coolant. Nearly destroyed my Mustang's engine. Stopped taking shortcuts to get anywhere. I would never know what would have happened to me had I gone out of the car to check on the bodies, or stopped my car closer to them. And by God, I'm glad I never will. Boyfriend at the time lives 2 hours away in a remote town smaller than the one I live in. He comes to get me on weekends to spend time with him at his place. Road between our towns is super remote, barely any houses along it, and has no gas stations in the 2-hour stretch. Boyfriend at the time, and he had to pull over to pee. The stretch has no streetlights, no gas station, so you're pretty much fucked if you break down. He drove the car, the truck pullover part, not sure what they're called, and got out and stood next to my open window facing away from the road, so we could keep talking while he did his thing. He got back into the car, and I thought I had heard someone call out. Now, I watch a lot of spooky movies, and something in my brain told me to not get out of the car and start looking around for this noise. Now, the spot we had parked had no houses nearby. We hadn't passed any cars in at least an hour, so it freaked me out a bit. I told my boyfriend what I had heard, and he fluffed it off, saying I was hearing things. He goes to start the car, and I hear it louder. It sounds like a woman who's chain smoked her whole life, screaming out, "Help me." Boyfriend hears it too. Starts the car with the intention of reversing so he could shine the headlights on the area that the noise is coming from. I'm half out of the window, squinting into the darkness, trying to spot the person. As the car starts, 5 people stand up from the tall grass, and a man yells out, "She asked for help, cunt." And a group of people laughing. They were maybe 10 meters away and started towards the car. And I'm freaking the fuck out. Boyfriend slams car into gear and speeds off while I'm winding up my window as fast as I can. People run onto the road and after the car. 2 out of the 5 people were holding sticks, I think. It could have been bats. Helped the fuck out, called police, and they said they'd send someone to check the area. Never fucking stopped to piss along that stretch again. Be me at 15. 2008. Driving with dad through Outback. Driving the Plenty/Donnell Highway between the Stuart Highway and Northern Territory of Boolia in western Queensland. 700 kilometers unsettled road. See no one but a few trucks, maybe 3 in total the whole time. Blew 2 tires about 450 kilometers in, and didn't have any more spares, so had to drop our speed by a lot just to be safe. As a result, ended up taking longer to drive the length of this road. than otherwise would have. For background, there is a myth/legend in Boolia area of the so-called Min light that harasses and follows travelers in trees, and tries to entice them to leave the road at night and follow it out into the desert. We traveled in the area plenty of times before and had never seen it, or we weren't really thinking about it. It'd be about 8:30 p.m, pretty dark. Night sky out there was amazing, by the way. Any Australians here? I highly recommend it. Driving along at about 50 to 60 kilometers an hour to prevent any risk of tire blowing. Light flashes in front of us like a shooting star, but in front of the windshield. Dad and I, what the fuck, but keep driving. Happens a few more times. Starts to hang around a bit longer each time. At one point, it hovered in front of us for about 30 seconds. Haha, must be the Min. Dad, I'm feeling a little bit on edge because the light appearing out of nowhere and hovering in front of the car is freaky as fuck. Dad doesn't give a fuck. Starts making verbal challenges at the light. He challenges it to try and lead him off the road. Light disappears. It appears again about 15 minutes later and hovers in front of our car again. Dad stops the car and gets out. The light starts moving off the road and stops about 10 meters off the road and hovers. Dad starts challenging the light again. Is this the best you've got? Picks up a rock and throws it at the light. All the while, I'm sitting in the car, not knowing whether to shit myself with fear or piss myself laughing at my dad fighting with a light. After a few seconds, the light disappears. At this point, we're pretty hungry, so we stay there for about half an hour and so, and make something to eat. Every 5 minutes, Dad starts yelling out at the light. Bring it on. I'm waiting. The light never comes back the whole time. TLDR. My dad had a fight with a paranormal light myth and won.